I am a helpless Overwatch addict who I really enjoy understanding more about the game, and I really enjoy your content because I love sorry,
You're
finding
good.
different ways to approach things and think about stuff. It's very interesting for me just as a mental exercise, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm never going to be like the most intense, crazy competitive player. But I do love hopping on for some comp and figured I might as well try and get better and be more proactive about being smart and thinking about how I'm playing as a result of it.
Sure. Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay. So see that you're Masters 4 and 5, and you're a support player. Okay. So how long you
Hmm.
been playing the game?
Since Overwatch One beta,
Ha. Okay. Okay.
later beta, not Bastion Shield beta, but like the one like right before the game came out.
Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. You dodged at least that bullet. And then Anna and Kiri. So why support in particular? At least as of now.
I'm gonna be honest. The vast majority of it is just the fact that I think Ana is the most fun hero to play in the game for me.
Ah.
She's someone that I've always loved playing. It feels like you have a decent amount of control over the whole battlefield, and it's just so like, which is weird because before I was an Ana main, I really was like I had a very diverse hero pool, played a lot of different things, a lot of different roles, especially before like role queue. I was someone that like thrived on being a flex player and just be whatever the team needed. But when I queue support, I just find Ana, generally speaking, so much more fun to play than the other supports that
Mm-hmm.
probably I'd say probably like 75% of my support competitive play time is Ana. Kiri's probably my go-to after that, but then I am able to somewhat do other supports as needed if I see like, oh, like a Brig would be really be good here. I've been trying to work that in. If someone needs a mercy pocket, I can do that. Not great, but can do it.
Sure.
But
Sure.
primarily Ana focused, I would say.
Okay, makes sense, makes sense. I mean, Anna is my second favorite hero in the game, so I'm with you on that one. She's just so
Who's number one?
satisfying. Zenyatta, I don't
Mm.
know, something about the hero just flows well. Anna's peaks for me are a little bit higher, but it's kind of hard to say. Give me actually a second. Do you have the code for me really fast? Because I'm having
Yeah,
an
I
issue
have a
loading up one. I'm gonna make sure I
yeah.
get it in now if I can.
Yeah. Um, Here, let's do that
I'm
one.
terrified they're gonna wipe them, and I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
I saved a couple of video files just in case.
brilliant. Okay, yeah, this one's work. This one works. Okay. Yeah, that one works. Okay, so we're good to go. Okay, so continue. Sorry. Anna, and then Masters 4 and 5. Very nice.
Mhm. So,
Sleep.
I mean, two obvious things I could do that I'm probably not going to do to improve and rank up is play way more, which I probably play as much as I can already. But B, also like I do enjoy playing the other roles. I'm not someone that's just like only going to play support. Support is
Okay.
definitely like my highest SR.
Okay. Sure.
But I do enjoy hopping on for the other
Sure,
roles.
sure. Makes sense, makes sense. So for you, maybe it's less discussion on training schedule and things like that, and more about what you actually need to be doing in game then.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, okay. As long as you have a good grasp of all the schedule stuff, like I guess let's just ask that question. Do you feel like you have a good grasp of what is at least needed to improve, or what you're doing, or you think you got it all set up?
I think generally speaking, I mean, obvious statement is obvious, but the more I play and the more I grind comp, and also I had some buddies that I was playing a lot with who are, probably lower SR players than me, and
Mm-hmm.
it definitely I can tell that like solo queuing is in the higher elo, it's much more challenging and probably better for improving my overall skill set.
Yes, yes.
Um, but uh, yeah, no, I mean, again, it's mostly just like I like self-reflection and looking at things I can do better. Obviously, I know that there are some easy things I can do and play way more and only grind solo queue on my main role to improve, but mostly looking for ways beyond that.
Okay, makes sense, makes sense. And then the consistency of playtime as well is important as well. But obviously, I think you're pretty familiar with all that, so interpret that as you will. Okay,
Mhm.
goals, climbing would be great, but I really love understanding the game and thinking of ways to improve. Okay, and then what do you feel is holding you back from improving? Mostly playtime, okay, but that's not really something we can solve. So probably reading the situations more quickly as the games get faster and harder as I climb. Elaborate on that, if you will.
So, and that's something as I've noticed as I've ranked up, which heck, for a while I was probably a high plat player, and then I was diamond, and now I'm low masters, which is great. But yeah, some of the games. like everything is happening so fast, especially sometimes if you're like a backline support player and
Yeah.
there's a lot happening. It can be a very different experience if you're not like uh I don't know. It just seems like things are happening a lot more quickly as you rank up, and a lot faster and a lot more challenging, and you have to be able to adapt this situation a lot more fluidly.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. And so then the last question is what do you hope to get out of the session? You say just a few mindset things to take away so that I can be identifying ways to improve as I play. Is there anything particular that comes to mind, no pun intended, with the mindset?
Um, Not just more. Nothing in particular. I think I'm curious to see what you'll think from watching me play, but like again, just from your content, I've taken away several things of always being able to find the best way to output pressure while not sacrificing your life, et cetera, et cetera. I've seen seen VOD, so I know that stuff, but just any general things that it looks like you're not really considering this when you're going for this play. Just
Got it.
see if there's anything that could illuminate that I hadn't been thinking about.
Okay, makes sense, makes sense. Well, I don't have a whole lot more from your forum. Do you have any other questions or anything you want to go over before we hop into the gameplay?
For this gameplay in particular, I selected this one because this is something I feel like I'm at a loss what to do with a lot of time. Very specifically, a lot of this game, I have a ball on my team.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been told like Ana is so great. Ana's a great support for ball. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but
Okay.
a lot of times it's just like I find myself just like staring at my ball across walls in the distance, being like, "Oh man, I'd love to help you, buddy, but I don't know what to do here." And just general ways to approach that better support that play style.
Sure.
Is one thing I'm interested in, which is one reason I selected this code.
Okay, let's take a look then. So if anything comes up, just holler. We might even have time for 2 codes. Who knows? Maybe we'll do some live coaching. I don't know. We cranked through the first part of that form so fast, so we're really good to go. Mercy's skirt is doing something. Okay, there we go. All right. So yeah, all about pressure output, putting out as much damage and healing pressure as you possibly can. Anti-nade sleep darts, damage and healing. Obviously, the things that come to mind. Anything comes to questions come up as we go through it. Let me know. Audio's a little quiet. Okay. How's the audio for you? Can you hear?
Yes.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
had to find the audio bar for a second.
Sure. So let's talk about pressure.
Yeah,
Have you heard me talk about pressure before?
Yes.
Okay. So what's the most pressure output that you could put out right now?
I would say probably chucking a nade at the Bastion.
Yep, or a sleep dart. But yes, putting some sort of pressure onto that Bastion, onto that backline as quickly as you possibly can. Why?
Because that will probably make them have to back up around the statue and give a little bit more time and space for my team.
Right, that's exactly what it is. So when you look at this, and I could tell that like, as soon as you saw it, you're like, so because you're slow to react here, and so now we're healing. But really, we shouldn't even need to be healing here. We should be going full DPS on in mode, but we're healing because we haven't really done anything to stop that Bastion from doing what he wants to do.
I think probably also this first point, I'm always tentative until I know for sure they don't have a Pharah, which I should know at this point now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's probably partly why I'm in the position I am. I'm not sure if this.
Sure, I think your positioning is okay. If they're on like Widow Hanzo, you might need to drop and rotate to a better angle. But like, I want it always to be like the thing with Ana is that in what's different from Ana compared to other supports is it's like, and this is what I suffer with when I don't play Ana for a while, is she's the burst of value, right? Where if you're missing your nades, if you're missing your sleep darts, it's rough, right? Like if you don't hit this nade, hit this sleep, you're kind of in like a downward spiral, for lack of a better term, where now you're gonna have a really hard time winning the rest of this fight. So here, maybe you guys are able to kill the Sem. Okay, nice sleep dart, but you see how much space that you've lost. And honestly, you could look at this and be like, you didn't hit the nade. And so that's why we're at.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
Honestly, that first pause we had, that's when the nade should have been out.
Exactly. And it's crazy to think that just that dictated this entire like flow state. That's exactly what happened. So I would drop here or rotate. This is fine too. But obviously at this point in time, it's like you know, I appreciate your aggression here. I think this is the only way that you guys maybe clutch this fight out. Nice kill. But like missing that window is everything with Ana, right? If you don't hit that nade and don't at least go for the opportunity, there isn't anything else to say. Okay, now let's talk. Nice shots. Holy crap. Making me look like a piker. Thought I was good at this game, guess not. Okay, let's talk about ball. All right. I'm gonna whip out my favorite tool. Hang on tight. This is gonna be so much fun. All right. So can you see my screen?
No.
Okay. Click on the. Do you see the top where it was like where top of Discord where I was streaming? Click on it, and then you should be able to click on the stream again. There you go. There you go. Okay. It's kind of complicated when I close and reopen stream. I don't know why it does that. Okay. So enemy backline is here. Enemy tank is here. Let's say it's queen in this particular instance. Your tank is not going to protect you from this queen. Obviously, you know this. He's going to create space. How?
By rolling past and rolling around in their back line and doing ball stuff.
Right. So he's going to cause all sorts of distractions here. So you've got two options, all right? Number one, you capitalize off of the distraction that he's putting on the backline and kill the queen who's going to get no healing. Okay? You could do that. It's not always easy, but it's possible. Number two is you do the avoid strategy, where you say, well, this queen is just going to kill me. So you know what? Peace. I'm out. I'm with my ball. And when I mean I'm with my ball, I don't necessarily mean I'm physically on top of my ball. But when you said you had some issues with playing with ball, don't treat ball like another tank. Go on the flank. Go take the high ground. Go set up on the DPS. Avoid the enemy tank entirely. Wrap around. Do you kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's where the ball is going to create the most space. He's not going to create space on main. You're still going to have to deal with the enemy tank on main. And if you don't have the tools to kill the queen, when she doesn't have healing, then don't even bother with the queen. Go around. Now, obviously, we're talking about King's Row, where doing that is easier said than done. However, that's the idea. So if we look at it, like let's just take a quick look at this fight here, okay? Let's wait till queen shows up here. It's gonna wait. We'll go back and watch this footage in a second, but I wanna take a look here. So like, let's say they were to walk through this choke here, right? And your ball, let's say, is alive and like setting up on backline, right? You got two options. Either you punish the queen from where you're at, okay? And try to get value behind. Or what is your other option?
Or it could be the other option other than avoiding the queen.
No, well, you're not really avoiding the queen if you're playing here, right?
Okay, so, yeah. Then I guess I could get to maybe that middle high ground, wait for the ball to roll through, and chuck a nade at that point.
You could legit hide over here. You know, you got a ball, right? You got a ball.
Yeah, but they also have echoes. I feel like she could, and she had Echo Mercy. Like they could.
That's
just, like,
true. That's true. So sit in your cooldowns. See if anybody comes with you. At least give it a shot. Now, like I said, this isn't the best map for this kind of play style, right? But even here, like let's say that you lose that fight. Okay, well then now you're here, right? So now you can play here, and then now you can play over here, and then I can play over here, right? There's more options for it. So when you're playing with the ball, you either play to avoid the tank trade and just basically pull them apart at the seams, or capitalize off the fact that the ball's distracting them. Now, I want to see what happens here and see if there's anything we could have done. See, but you got to be braver here. This is the problem. See, you don't have the opportunity right now. You don't have the option to avoid the tank trade, right? You don't get to choose. The fight's starting. You need to fight. You can't go high ground. You can't wall climb right now, tragically. So what should you be doing right now?
I guess pushing forward and throwing a nade at the queen.
You got to push forward. Now, you can play it intelligently, right? You can walk forward here and do what?
Check a nade, throw a sleep, take a couple scope shots until they start looking at me, and then back up around the corner.
How about this? Just sit here and shoot.
Yeah.
Dodge knife, right? Whoop, there's a knife. Whoop. The queen starts to push you. What do you do?
Back up.
Back up. Or what do you still have in your pocket?
Sleep.
Sleep, right? You could chuck your nade. You could chuck your shot. You could keep a little bit of distance between yourself and the queen. You don't have to push in and go, you know. You just need to contribute. Your Sojourn's making the same mistake. You just need to contribute. And you can even have that sleep dart or that nade as they get out of jail free card in case she decides to push you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the problem here is not that, oh crap, a stupid ball. The problem is that you're doing nothing. Literally nothing. You don't have to push here. You just need a sightline. This is good enough. If your ball dies here, at least you tried. You maybe shot the echo a little bit, maybe got a kill. But the problem here is that you're like, well, because even the way that you push here is not the best. I would have created even a little bit more distance between myself and the queen. You see this? This is a little bit better, right? Because you're like, she shouts, you panic both of your cooldowns and just run away. So it's not a surprise when your ball dies, because yes, should he have been fighting there? Probably not, but there's literally 0 health.
Right.
And then now you just need to run.
I guess it's just sort of a tricky balance, I feel sometimes, because it's like, I feel like I've sometimes I've tried the opposite way, and it's just like trying to extend too far past what is normally a safe position for Ana in order to help a ball is a lot of times a good way to get myself killed, because then like the ball just like rolls away. It's like, peace, I'm out. And then they turn and look at me. I'm right there. I'm like, fuck.
That's why you don't break the rules, though. That's why you don't push here. That's why you push here. Right? And that still gives you the option to kite out. And that's also why you need to be paying attention to when your ball is actually in. Right? You see, ball is just like, it's an intelligence or a skill test. If you can play well with a ball because you're paying attention to when he's going in, then you're going to have a great time. If you can't, unlucky, go next. Right? That's the problem. That's why, like, not that you're a lower rank person, but a lot of lower rank people have issues with playing with dive tanks because they don't understand what to do when a dive tank does something. They just want to sit in their safe position and shoot what's in front of them. You have to be more creative, and you have to be a little bit more dynamic with how you're playing, right? A little bit more in and a little bit more out. For example, when that ball leaves, you can't sit there and hold the corner. You have to back up more than you normally would, right? That's why a lot of time, like, dive supports or heroes with range like Ana do well with ball, because the Ana doesn't have to get too close. She can contribute from a distance. But for example, right now, ball's about to go in. Where do you go?
Honestly, might, in hindsight, maybe up the stairs to the left.
Love
here.
it. Perfect.
Have a better sight line to throw nade.
Exactly. Not only do you have a better sight line to throw nade to push, but also when the ball's out, where do you go?
I can back up, or if
can the queen
needed,
trade you?
Try and run to the health pack if I desperately need it.
Can the queen trade you from here?
No.
There's, in fact, you could use all your cooldowns here because you don't need to save a sleep dart or a nade because they can't push you from here. So if you go in with your ball here, not only will you have a better angle to land your sleep dart and nade, but you'll also be safer on what I would call, it's kind of corny, but the snapback, right? The rubber band. When your ball is out, they push back in, you're still safe. You see, your contribution here has been nil, not because your mechanics are bad, but because your angle's bad. That's why.
Right.
Nano is fine. She's engaged, so the Nano is going to be good. Okay. Nicely done. Now they're on Moira Brig Queen. What is this composition really, really good at? Where is this composition really, really good at?
Close range.
Yeah.
Be able to just basically run you over.
Right. So where do you need to be? Two options.
High ground, where we just talked about before, or just in the way back.
Yep. There's no reason not to be here, right? Even here. Here's another question. There's no Echo Mercy now, right? Just the Echo. If they go Moira, they lose the range. They lose the mobility, don't they? Right? So if the Echo comes for you, it's a 1v1. You got Sleep Dart and Nade. She's cooked. And now your Hanzo's also up here as well. So if you want to go hyper aggressive, get up here. If you want to be hyper defensive, go up here. Right? Up to you. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it would take me a long time to get to high ground at this point, probably before fight even starts.
Which is why you would go now. There's your 16 to 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Just something to consider. I'm not saying that you always have to go for the aggressive play. I'm not even saying that the aggressive play there is even the best play. But just something to consider. At least now you do have some range. That's just what we want. Good. Nice nade. Ball's in. Ball's in. You're not going to be able to get out. Okay, now snap back, right? Run. You weren't able to contribute. This one was a little bit more of your ball feeding and less of you messing up, right? So then you need to get out of here. Run, 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 run. Keep running, keep running, keep running, keep running, keep running, keep running. Now, ball. You see it? You see your ball? What should you be doing right now?
Well, if he's going in there, they're probably all turning around. So I guess now go see if I can open up the angle on the left.
Sure, even if it's just peeking this, or
Right.
peek maybe even worth. It's probably worth chucking a nade here. Even very risky, but it's worth it, right? Okay, let's push. You're standing still too long. I will also say that instead of being creative, you're on it to main. Go take a flank, mate. You know, look at this sight line. You know, look at that.
Yeah.
Something to consider. And that's how you help ball, right? Because the problem is when you run it down mid, what's the problem with mid compared to this flank? Which one was more dangerous?
This probably.
That's the irony, right? You run it here because you don't want to go here, or maybe you just didn't think about it, but let's just pretend that you're too scared, okay? Because that's fun, right?
That is something I'm probably not evidenced by this, but that's something I'm thinking about more lately is the benefit of opening up an angle, and even if it's just for like a second, they turn and have to look at you. It does create a lot of value.
And the thing with Ana too is we talked about earlier, the bad thing about Ana is that you're very bursty with your pressure. But the good thing about Ana is that means that you don't have to peek an angle for 6 years. You can peek it, throw a nade, and just be out of there, right? You don't have to sit there and spam. You can, but you don't have to. But see, the problem here is that like your pressure is nil, you don't have a good angle, and you're actually at a risk of dying there. Good nade. That's a poor echo. Nice sleep dart. Probably would have preferred the nano on the Sojourn. I don't know if you intended it to nano the ball, but the Sojourn's better.
Yeah.
You understand why, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to tell you something you already know. Okay, let's good. Take it. Don't be scared. Let's go. You know, like your ball's in, take the angle, walk with your Sojourn. You could also take this opportunity if you wanted, if you had the time to take this high ground up here, and you could do all sorts of funny stuff up through here, right? You could, even if you wanted to play it more defensively, I would probably want an angle like this here to start rather than where you're at right now. Because again, you need to avoid that queen. You need to avoid that Moira. You need to avoid that soldier. Ball's in. You're not able to walk forward in time. Now that one, I will say this is why things like high ground positions are better with the ball. Because you see your ball roll in here, you mirror it, your ball's in, you throw nade, right?
Yeah.
And then what happens when they snap back? Echo tries to shift after you. You just disengage right back again, right? And you're safe again. Yeah. Now, your ball is not doing a very good job of paying attention of where you are. If I was coaching this ball, I would be saying, hey, turn around before you engage. Look at where your backline's set up. Try to engage around that area. So for this ball, I would try to engage around cart rather than over here. But that's not always going to work out, right? You need to be flexible. He needs to be flexible. You can only control one of those people. So consider that with your positioning. What I don't want you to do is run in here in front line. It's too close. So that's why you have to be creative with your positioning, because if you try, like you said, if you try to just run it in, you're going to get your teeth kicked in as soon as that ball rolls out. You kind of see what I'm saying?
I do, yeah.
So it's like you can have your cake and eat it too if you're creative with the angles that you take. If you're not, and you're only able to run it down mid, seesawing off of your ball, like we saw on second point, it can work, right? Like you can take like an angle here, it's okay, but even then it's still not great. Good try.
Back up there.
That's okay, it happens. Okay. If your ball engages here, you're not going to be able to do anything about it, given your positioning, right? So where should you be? If you get the time. Obviously there's crazy crap happening right now.
Yeah, rotate around, be above where the cast is.
Yep. Still can heal, still can support, and you can damage, right?
And can look at the high ground if they're going up on there.
Yep. I mean, you're trying to land nades, but you can't see anything, right? Like, it's just, it's hard. Now, this fight in particular, maybe you could argue that you didn't have a lot of time to shoot people, but it's good to think about. Okay, let's keep going. I love this. Very safe, right? Love this. A little bit unfortunate with the nano. Yeah, this is great. Much better. I mean, obviously, you know, fight's lost, but I think that, at least in theory, was good. Nobody's looking at that left flank because they're all looking on right. You get the opportunity to land a nice nade, to hit some shots. Unfortunate, the nano I don't think was the greatest, but it is what it is. Okay, do you have any questions so far?
No, I think this is good. So I think this is showing that I need to look for ways to take better angles to support the ball where he is engaging, and not like, obviously my safety is important, but if the ball is fighting a lot of the fights without my help, that's worse.
Correct. And the thing is we saw is you can have your cake and eat it too, because you're trying to help, but because you're walking forward instead of around or on high ground or on an angle, you're also increasing the risk that you get punished at the same time. We want to increase your safety and your efficacy at the same time. Now, the nice thing about this is that while that was a ball-specific little segment, it really does apply to every tank, right? So, for example, as your Zarya walks forward here, okay? So your Zarya does, okay? So you want to walk forward and help your Zarya and land a big anti-nade, right? So what's the best way to do that right now?
Well, I think I'm about to check it here because I feel like I can see a few people in the queens right there.
But let's say you were here. Where could you go?
Right. I could rotate around right on the statue.
Right, and you notice that you still kept distance between yourself and the queen, right? If you're here trying to land a nade, there's more of a chance that you eat a random log, echo spam, junker queen crap, all sorts of stuff, right? Here, yes, you break line of sight with your tank briefly, but it's a significant.
Right, I think that is my concern, right? There have been several times where I'm like, okay, I'm rotating around the statue, and then just like by the time I do that, my tank's dead. I'm just like,
right. So there's nuance to it. You have to be quick with it. You have to be decisive, and you have to time it well. But the alternative is that you don't take those angles, you don't take those nades, you die more as a result, and or your tank dies as a result because you're not taking a good angle for nade. And as we saw in first fight, if you don't put out good offensive pressure, you can't heal to compensate. So it's the constant dance between, is staying and healing my tank more value or setting up an angle for nade? If so, how best do I do it? Same thing as ball. Right now, you could just chuck the nade. I would probably prioritize nade here, easier to land. Nade's fine. Let's walk. And again, where should you be walking right now? Right.
Or if I still had nade, I could take maybe a really aggressive angle to the left.
You sure could. But I like the way that you're thinking. You say, I don't have nade, so I don't want to rotate left, right? Again, that bursts the value, right? Too much healing. Okay, there's the nade. You could be cute with this and flank left, or you could just nade the queen. Honestly, just nade the queen. Just hit the queen, right? I think the number one thing that I see with people when it comes to missing nades is they try to hit 2 instead of 1. Right? I think that's what you kind of did there. Just hit 1. Okay, rotating away. Same thing, right? You don't really have somebody that you're aiming for. You just see a clump of red and you just huck it. Pick a target. Backline or queen. Either one. Don't give up your angle. Hold the angle. That's what gets you flanked here, right? If you sit here, the echo gets flanked. Right? I think most of this is just thinking that you've capped, so you're kind of relaxing. Don't relax.
Yep.
You want that cortisol that constantly flowing. If you're not experiencing PTSD every single game, then you're trolling. Good nano? Oh no. Maybe. Oh, you're clutching.
I missed so many beats.
That's okay.
It drove me crazy.
It's honestly the same thing though. It's like the 2-for-1, right? You're greeting. Just shoot. Just play Kovacs. Kovacs. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. Yeah! Let's go.
1 for 4. All right.
Let's go. Oh, wait, what? Look at that little micro flick he got going on here. Look at this. He like flick it like the last 10th of a second. I want to see this. Look at this. Woo! There you go. Would probably prioritize Kiriko there. Queen has so much healing with her self-healing and team healing. It's just force it. Even if you hit like only one of your shots, it's gonna matter so much more. Okay, let's keep going. You have any questions so far?
Nope.
All right, let's zoom ahead. Now they're on Echo Tracer. I don't care. Same rules apply. If you run into the Tracer on the flank, kill her. As long as you have a sight line, you have an advantage over all flankers. Flankers. And when the Tracer just, I guess, does a drive-by, like, I don't even know what this was.
Just fine.
Yeah, you can kill that. Unfortunate. Very fortunate. Brilliant. Keep your distance, keep your distance, keep your distance. Good, 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 good. Unfortunate. Alright, let's go. Wrecking ball time. That's what the kids say is Pog Champ. Nice. Now, again, you haven't really had time to set up an angle, right? Nor have you had space. So we're good to go. Disastrous nano. It's now happened 3 times, so it's no longer an accident. It's a mistake.
So, I guess my thought process is there, right? He was kind of low. He's rolling around. He's in the muck. He's engaging. He's on them. So I should just give him the nano to help him out there. Because I was also... if I don't do that, I feel like he's going to die because I have a copy ball in my face. And I'm not going to be able to heal him, probably.
Okay. I'll give you that one. 1 point.
Nano depleted. Yes.
I guess it's a little bit of where you could see here how the nano ball is rarely going to be the thing that turns a fight. You will save his life, but you still might lose the fight. So, your reason
it's honestly probably tying back to this mindset of just like, I'm like, how do I help you, ball? Let me help you. Oh, you're in there, you're rolling around. Sure, have a nano.
Right. No, well, here's what I'll say. That nano, with your logic, I don't really have a problem with it. It makes total sense. He was actually at risk of dying there, so I'm fine with it. Just make sure that he's going to die before you nano him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, it is a big deal. Okay, walk, take an angle. Up the stairs to your right, maybe? We just want a sight line. We want to be able to contribute, wow. Like, for example, right here. Too close. Snap back.
Yeah.
You see it?
Yeah. As soon as I killed the Tracer, I was like, oh god.
Because that ball is out. Yeah. That should be a red flag. They are now in. And you're, like, the reason why we talk about angles is because a lot of the times the angles.
What is happening with the ball's neck here?
Yeah, that tends to happen in the replay viewer. Okay, you saw earlier with Mercy's skirt just flapping in the air. The reason why the angles matter so much is because it's not just the element of surprise. It's also because, as you saw here, remember on our defense where you were walking here and ran to the queen instead of taking the sight line here. It wasn't necessarily that, oh, angle, therefore do it. It was because this is a longer sightline than where you're at. So for here, I don't necessarily want you going and hiding and flank nading here, right? I just want you over here, you know? I just want some distance, right? That's what you need. And so as you guys look here, you're like, oh, whoa. You and your soldier make the same mistake. And so you guys just, you know, melt like butter. I almost said melt like putty, but I don't think putty actually melts. So, well, kind of. I don't know. Now, big brain rollout here.
Wide right?
Yeah. And go up the stairs and sneak around and you know, I mean, kind of crack cocaine level of aggression, right? But if you're up here, queen can't hit you. I'm not saying you have to do this, but this is your high risk, high reward play.
Sure, so but again, they are on Echo Mercy now.
That
So I
is
feel
true.
like they could
That is true.
go on me.
That is true. Got some distance. We start to walk. Ball is in. So where should you be right now? Trick question.
Where's the ball?
He's the little yellow orb on your screen.
Oh, there he is. Jesus, sorry. Okay.
It's fine.
Yeah, I would think I should be wide right. I'd say like below where the Hanzo is right now.
Okay. The reason
There's a
why
really
I
good
said
sight
trick
line on this card.
question is I actually think where you're at right now is fine.
Oh, okay.
Why do you think where you're at right now is particularly okay for now?
Because it's right where the ball is.
Right. Can
where
you see the ball?
He's fighting her.
And what's the distance we got going on here?
Pretty long sight line to
Yeah.
the queen,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
she
yeah.
can't really run on me.
Yeah. Now the other thing too is what defines an angle in Overwatch?
Being able to see something?
Sure. Okay. Look at your team's angle here. You see your Kiriko? See your Hanzo?
Yep.
See your ball?
Yep.
So are you on an angle right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Main is this isn't main. This is just a road. Sometimes it's main. Sometimes it's not. Right?
Main is the state of mind.
Right, main is a state of mind, exactly. So there's no reason for you to go, oh, well, I have to be on the flank with these guys. Actually, that would be bad. That would be too close to the Echo. That would be, stacking with too many members of your team instead of taking a different angle where you can help your soldier, for example, right? So I like where you're at right now, actually. I think it makes sense, right? Case in point, right? If you're a little bit more on tune, that Echo dies. Why is the Echo here? Because she's hiding from your Hanzo over here, right?
Right.
And so then here... Now, this is where we can get really schnazzy. Where could you go right now?
I bet you're going to say you could go wide left and check a nade on their back line.
Genius. You could. High risk, high reward, but at least there's a little bit of distance here, right? Because my concern is that you're going to get impatient and do what?
Nothing.
Or, well, that's patient. That's too patient, right? What's the impatience going to lead you to do? Where are you going to go?
Feed. Just run in and die where I did last fight.
Right here, right? And what's the problem with this positioning here?
It's too close. Everyone can see me and shoot me. And
yeah, too predictable, too close, and now it becomes more main with how the rest of your team is. So the irony here is that, yes, it will mean that you have to leave your DPS briefly, but the safer and more valuable position for you to be would be here.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see what happens. It might not really matter. You guys might just win this fight. And now as you guys win this fight, this is okay, but you can see how this fight is now losable because guess what's being thrown your way right now? Pulse bomb. Guess what else could be thrown your way soon enough here? Queen ult. Now you might look at this and be like, well, there's mines around me, we're up 2. If you're thinking this many things through and that's justifying your decision to be here, then I'm okay with it. But I'm not convinced that that's the case.
I think what I'm about to do is go right. Just get a little bit back. Oh, maybe not. I didn't remember that happening. Might be next fight.
What has your contribution been this fight?
Nothing.
Nothing, right? Have you saved anybody's life with your healing?
Nope.
No. Something to consider. Because I'm pretty sure that's probably most of the reason why you're scared to do these little rotations. But ultimately, the deaths are happening inevitably anyway.
Right.
So, what's the advantage here?
I'm sorry.
You got a soldier coming up here with visor, taking aggressive angle on main.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, where should you be right now? You didn't take the angled flank. That's okay. Where should you be? You nade. Where do you go?
Back.
Create distance. Play Kovacs. Get out of here. Yes. Thank you. You see that? Saved your life.
Yep.
Very good. Nice. Peek. Very good. Fight winning rotation to create distance between yourself and the Moira. If you don't do that, you might have died. She overextended and therefore died to visor, whereas otherwise she would not have overextended, would not have died to visor, and you would have died. Very, very well done.
I just remembered how mad you're gonna be in my last play.
It's okay. That's okay. That's okay. What do you think about your positioning right now?
I think it's pretty good right now.
I think so too.
Cover. I can see the queen.
I like it.
I can
That's
see
good.
anyone else that pops up. If the Echo pops up on the high ground, I can shoot her.
Sure. If you were to go for something more aggressively and a burst of value with nade, where would you go?
I could move a little to the left and get an angle on that window through the door.
Sure could. How about
which is
this?
where a lot of the back line is usually just chilling.
Peek in here.
Well, look who's waiting there. But yeah,
I'm aware. But now that would be the time to take a duel with Tracer, no?
yeah.
When your ball's going in. Now, it doesn't have a very good sight line, so that's going against it. But if sometimes you're not going to be able to generate a good sight line and you want to make a play, now would be the time to do so, right? That's when you want to take a duel with Tracer. She gets no help. It's a 1v1. You have help. She doesn't have help. There you go. Now, all that being said, I think where you're at is the best play, but I always want to give you alternatives because it shouldn't be, okay, what's the best play right now? I have to find the one play that works. There's always a few options. It's up to your interpretation of what you feel like at that moment. Like, for example, let's say there's a Han Zone high ground right now. You know? Can you play here?
Yeah.
No.
I think right now there's 3 people right there. I need to throw my nade.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah. Okay, let's see. Good nade. It's unfortunate. Good little counter rotation back. Heal to walk forward. Remember, walk forward means what? Where are you walking forward?
Back to the angle.
Yes, you don't walk forward this way, you walk forward this way, right? Stop, don't stand here. Okay? Okay. Now, obviously, this point of the map, pretty straightforward. Not a lot you can do. So just create a nice, juicy sightline and play Kovacs. Good. Create some distance, play Kovacs.
What is Kovacs? I don't understand that.
Aim trainer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's one of my Zoomer references. I'm hip with the kids.
Of course.
Oh no.
This is it.
Well, you know what?
I died trying to nano the ball.
Okay. I'm gonna cut you a little bit of slack because it goes back to what you were saying earlier, where is this ball going to die? Kind of looks like it, right?
I definitely thought so.
Okay, so you know what? I'm fine. Totally fine. You know why you're trolling, right? But I think it's a failure in execution, but the idea wasn't bad, and that's really where we want to choose our battles. I don't want to be like, oh, that's an idiot. You're an idiot. What are you doing?
What happened right there is like the epitome of probably my issues with the how to support ball mindset, because I'm like trying to go forward and help him, and then like I can't quite see him or can't help him, and then all of a sudden they're looking at me and my ball's rolled away. I'm like, fuck.
Right, you're noticing why this was an issue though. Where's your angle, your flank on this particular point?
Yeah.
You know,
and I mean,
you don't really have one.
The other part of this is that because the Hanzo dies after, or like, you know, after that moment where I decided to walk forward and try and nano the ball. If I just live here, we have 4 people. We have Kitsune, we have Nano, we have Ainu.
Sure.
The ball will be back any moment.
Sure.
Because he's ball.
Sure. Of course. I mean, I get it. Like, I think here it's more about like there's just not a lot of angles or high ground to play. Now, I will say, optimally, if you do get the opportunity to play here, it's a very unorthodox position, but you do have a pretty decent sightline on the point. You can also go for flank nades and things like that. And it just even being this position here allows you to give you that option. Okay. That being said, this is not exactly the most high ground off angle friendly point in the game, right? Especially for a hero that doesn't have high ground mobility. So this is like the perfect like little microcosm of like my problems with ball. Yeah. Yes. It's rough, right? But that doesn't excuse first and second point. And that's kind of like where you need to put your attention to, right?
Right.
Okay.
No, yeah, I wasn't blaming the ball. I'm saying this is my mindset of like, oh,
sure,
like, how do I help him? Oh god.
Sure. My point is like, I don't blame yourself this fight. Yeah. You know, you had the right idea. It's a tricky situation. I get it. In the heat of the moment, you make a bad decision, you make a mistake. What I want to do is focus more on the stuff where it wasn't a goofy mistake. It was just dumb. It just didn't make a lot of sense, right? If you mess up, but you're trying to do the right thing, that's okay. I don't think what you're trying to do here is necessarily bad. Okay. So do you have any questions?
Not on. No, I think that
okay.
That was great, and that helps a lot.
So it's up to you here. We still have about 15 minutes. We could look at another code. We could do a little bit of live coaching. It's up to you.
Sure. Let's look at the here. Dorado game
Sure.
last night. I think that's right.
So what are you seeing so far before we hop into this game? Skills that you need to practice.
I think just more constantly evaluating when is it worth it to go for a more aggressive angle, and try and choose ones that are not likely to get me killed but still provide a good flank and a good burst of potential value.
Sure, exactly. Avoiding main when it's not providing a lot of value or it's too high risk. We want you to be able to cut down on the deaths as well as providing more offensive pressure. Like for example, right now, this is the ball situation all over again. Where are you not going to win the fight? What particular point of the map are you not going to win the fight?
Right where I'm at.
Right where you're at. You're not going to win the fight in what's on our screen right now. It's never going to happen. Why?
I can't see any enemies.
You can't see any enemies? Except there's one enemy you can see, and who is that?
The Rhine.
The Rhine. And Reinhardt is really, really freaking good at just holding this
short range corner.
Yeah. Right, so you're not going to break this choke unless the Reinhardt makes a mistake. Now, I'm not saying it won't happen. It could happen, but you don't want to rely on that, right? It would require a monumental feed from that Reinhardt to, he'd have to get slept and then naded and overextend, and then maybe your Hanzo or your Widow hits a shot, and it's just so many factors. So then, how do you break this choke?
I think I need. Well, I was gonna say go more on the right, but I don't want to be too close either, where the Rhine can just walk on.
Right. So you might not have an angle or a flank that you can take, but remember the rule with Junker Queen: when you didn't have an angle or a flank to take, what did you do?
Back up.
You create distance. You contribute from afar. So that's your whole mindset here. Is like, I'm contributing from afar. So how do you contribute from afar? Better angle, right? Maybe you walk forward here as your monkey jumps, play a sleep dart with Ryan, maybe look for a nade in backline and then run away. Maybe you heal. Maybe you look for this rotation all the way around here. Maybe catch the Ryan by surprise, right? Look for this here. Do you see this?
Yeah.
Maybe you sneak up and flank here and then chuck a nade from here. But your goal is to either keep your distance from the Rhine or avoid him entirely. Now, at a higher level, if you get space, a lot of supports will try to rotate to high ground through here. Not something that you see a lot in your ranked games, but something to consider on this map if you get the opportunity. I don't know if you're going to get the opportunity here, but your whole mindset should be, I'm contributing from distance, right? Like right here, that sleep's about to expire. Get ready. He's coming for you, right? And you see that, right? How did you guys win this fight?
The Rhine was just out of action, and they created space in the back line.
All right, you won the fight everywhere but the Rhine. Let me look at the Reinhardt's HP. Right, his team is dead, and he's 600 HP. Right, that's pretty normal. That's kind of what we're expecting. So your whole mindset needs to be, what can I contribute away from that Queen, from that Rhine, from the Ramatra, from the Sigma? What, fill in the blank, right? Now he's a monkey. So, questionable. Little question here. Now, obviously, after your Lucio dies, it's GG's. Where should you be right now?
See, they just went on monkey.
Don't expect you to know this answer. Just think it through.
My honest answer is, I feel like where I am is a pretty good spot. I'm safe, and I have sightline of where the fight would be.
Could you be safer? Could you have a better sightline?
I mean, I guess I could be like where the Widow is.
No? You see what I'm saying? Something to consider. Because right now, while you're waiting, now would be a good time to take a position like that. Because the problem is when you back up here, where do you back up to? Right back where you started. If you're here and you have to back up, you're backing up either this direction or this direction, but you're still in high ground. You're like, well, I have a sightline, but do you have a sightline?
Right.
So either
I,
you need.
I think I was trying to reset here, and then the Lucio ran in. I was like,
Sure.
wait.
So that's why the high ground is good though, because it's a
Right.
good. You can maintain the sight line while still being safe. That's
Right.
why it's good.
I gotcha.
Okay. There's the ubiquitous Reaper swap. Could have predicted that one. Nice. A little goofy with the sleep dart. Whoa!
Yeah,
Oh,
I got
jeez.
by surprise there.
Oh my gosh. Questionable infosites, but at least we cap. Now, where should you be right now?
I think to the left there by the mid.
Get off of cart. Let your Reaper Lucio sit in cart. They're useless heroes. Put pressure. Break turret. Build ult.
Yep. Yeah.
Get a kill. Maybe your Widow hits a body shot. Finish him off, right? Don't waste time.
Yeah.
So for you, it's as much about your life as it is about the offensive pressure. It's as much about the offensive pressure as it is about your life. You've contributed nothing.
Yep.
And there's no reason not to. Now you got to be on cart. But, you know, next time,
Right.
let somebody else take the cart. That's not going to
Yeah.
contribute as much. Tough.
Was he purple?
No, I just think he got bursted. Yeah, he was just extremely low when you ended him.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Unfortunate. That's why saving somebody's life in Nano was always like kind of a 50-50. It can work, but also if it doesn't, it has a tendency to where they're already so low that it doesn't matter. Or that worst case scenario, he jumps out and you nano him.
Right.
And then you're like, ah, crap, right?
Definitely had some of those.
That's okay, it happens. Now, again, you noticing the same issue with the previous map where your sightline here is terrible. So if you get the opportunity to, where do you need to go once again?
Left.
Left. You need to go left. You need to try and sync it up, heal off, peel off, put pressure from here. Otherwise, you're screwed. Now you're about to have your lucky day because look at what your monkey has, right? So when your monkey takes space next fight, you don't care about breaking LOS with him for a period of time. Like right now, my man's about to go in hard. Get a sightline, light him up. You know what I'm saying? Just a non-factor. Okay. Then the predictable Zarya swap. Guys, nothing says Zarya like Dorado second point. You know what haters gonna hate. You're just gonna win this. I'm sure of it. Do you guys cap the second point?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I knew it. What's the problem with your positioning?
I'm sitting duck for the cast that's on high ground.
So what's the solution?
And also I can't really see be left.
Okay, either, yeah, you're noticing a pattern here. Either left, or what if there's something here like a Hanzo Widow that you don't want to peek? Tricky, right?
Yeah, I mean I could be under where they are.
Go to here.
Right there. Yeah.
And then look for offensive pressure through here. Because if they're putting all their eggs in one basket, which is the sniper comp, right? Then all of a sudden you're not as scared of getting close. You're not scared of this diva anymore. Because it's just diva. You've got help. So generally, you are the sniper hero. But not
That
always.
is something that I obviously didn't do a good job of implementing that here. That's another small thing from your VODs that I found very helpful. It was like the simplest concept of a VOD review. I forget exactly what it was, but it was just thinking about like, hey, which hero is better at this range? And it's just like I've been trying to just like constantly think about that. And it's so helpful, like especially for like when I'm playing tank and just being like, oh, well, if I just stand outside of the range where the Reinhardt can swing his hammer on me, and if he goes forward, I back up, and if he goes back, I go forward. It's just like that. Small things like that I found very helpful. So
Good. Glad to hear it. Yeah, I mean, they're things, they're like profoundly simple things that I'm always like, I just like, I don't even think I'm that smart. I just feel like so many other coaches do just a terrible job of it. I think it's like, it should be so simple to explain these things, but instead we start talking about like fast and slow, and I'm like, please shut up. Just tell me what range I want to play the hero at. Like right here, right? What's the problem with what's going on your screen right now?
The diva is in our face, and I can't
Right.
see
Where's
the
your
rest
sight
of
line?
them. Yeah, I don't have it.
You
I
know?
should be unlocked.
And versus this comp, you could play Kovacs, right? from here, or even if you want to play here, do so at the maximum range that you possibly can. There's no reason for you to be walking in here outside the quick nade, which again, I do appreciate you looking for this nade. You were clearly looking for a nade on backline, but this is it's a fundamental problem with your positioning, right?
Yeah.
Part of this just might be that you're not very good in this map, but if at least you know what you're looking for, you can experiment with stuff. And there's not like hard rules like you only play this sightline as Ana, you only play that sightline as Ana. Maybe you're playing like a Kiriko Road Dog, and you go flank with your Tracer and high ground, and you go flank around here. I'm not even joking, right? There's a world where that would be the play, right? Or you try to clear them on high ground. So there's no rules with Ana, just outside of sightlines and get a side and cover, right? But right now it's like I think you would benefit from at least testing more, Yeah. Nice sleep dart. By the way, I see one tiny little habit I see from you is I see this.
Reloading too much?
Yes, but even more so. What should you be doing right now? You go for the sleep dart, but really what should you be going for instead?
Killing him.
Right, with what?
A nade.
Nade, right. It's just the easier kill secure. Right.
He has a Kyrian and Ana looking at him.
Well, and it's that, but it's also, this is not an easy sleep dart, right? But it is an easy nade. And either one will lead to his death, so why not go for the easier, lower cooldown one? Do you see what I'm saying? And I saw this on King's Row as well, where sometimes you'd fish for these sleep darts where the nade would have been better to open with instead. Just a small thing. Like, he dies either way.
Yeah.
But if he misses sleep,
guess my
maybe he
only...
lives.
I guess my thought is, so like, against a comp like that, right, where they were running Diva, poor Cass, so I'm not exactly scared of like someone, especially in that situation where they're backing up. I'm not scared of someone getting on top of me, so I just.
And if they do, sleep dart's your better friend than nade, especially nowadays, right, with the nade nerf.
Right.
Do it. Nice. Sightline. Where should you go? You got an okay sightline here, right? But where else could you rotate to?
Yeah. I could rotate wider right behind. Isn't there like a truck or a
Yeah, right here. Absolutely juicy. Like I would not be in card here. Just get off guard. Don't let them clutch it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like I swear there's like an 85% success rate of capping if you can get your supports to rotate out towards right. It's just so much harder.
yeah, I like that.
Let's stop there. So, what are you seeing so far? What are skills that you need to practice for the near future?
I think overall on the spectrum of safety versus aggressive angles, I need to limit tests better and push the limits of what I can get away with and try more opening up better sight lines as opposed to just constantly being concerned about staying in the back and my safety. It's like I need to avoid these long stretches where I'm not where I don't have any value, I don't have any pressure.
Look at the last little couple of words, I guess, from that sentence. That's not something that we talked a lot about, but you understand the importance of that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Better sightlines off of your tank's timing. Not something we talked about, but important. Okay. Anything else?
Not nano ball as much.
Nano ball when possible. At least two of them were fine, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Just need to be more proactively thinking about the fight before it happens and as it's happening and the angles I can take to make an impact as opposed to
about positioning angles pre-fight, right?
Yeah.
Best time to do things. I mean, that's probably one of the most important skills you can develop is the ability to think between fights. So important, right?
And especially like I talked about with the games feeling faster. It's like, well, that's the time I do have to think, and I need to take advantage of that.
Right, exactly. It's too fast to react. You have to predict. Okay. Anything else?
I think that's mostly it. Maybe chill a little bit with the zany sleep darts from afar.
Maybe. I got one that's even more important.
Yeah.
Or one person. Bit of a niche one, but we saw it too many times to not bring up. You see it in the notes?
Oh no! Wait, where are the notes? Oh, there it is. Hi.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think too many times where you see a clump of red and you just aim for the general center and miss all of them.
Yep.
Just pick a target. Pick a target. I think it's the most important. Obviously, it doesn't mean that you can't go for multi-nades, but just be careful as they tend to split. You see this even sometimes in Overwatch League, right? They get a little too greedy and they just whiff everybody. So good balance. Do you have any questions?
I mean, obviously, this could be a whole nother, and I'll probably be back for more coaching after I try implementing some of this stuff. But
Sure.
one just general question I have, because this has just been my own personal experience, but I haven't seen anyone talk about it. Is Ana just worthless on push? Because I feel like she is like it takes. There's so much movement and repositioning and disengaging and re-engaging that I just feel like I can't go on push and be effective.
The issues that you were describing with Ball and King's Row and the issues that you were struggling with on Dorado are going to cause you issues on push.
Got it.
It's going to exacerbate the problems that you already have because you're right. Ana is harder on push, especially if you don't have a Lucio. She is. Right. On Esperanza, New Queen Street, there's a little bit more wiggle room because you've got better sightlines, but she's hard. You're cracking me up because yesterday I had a session with an Ashe player, said the exact same thing. Earlier, prior to the session, we were talking about a Zen player who was struggling with Koth. Same problem. Right. Any hero that doesn't have a lot of mobility gets punished for it and push. But the way to solve that problem is to start thinking about these fights proactively, right? And to start to consider your rotations and your movement and your off angles and things like that, because the weakness of Ana is the lack of mobility. But when you're talking when 2 out of the 3 push maps have really, really nasty sightlines, that's also a huge strength for Ana. And probably not something that you're leveraging enough. So yeah, like is it better to play Kiriko push? Yes.
New Queen Street especially. I'm just like, I can't do this. I'm going Kiriko.
Right. So take a look at it again. If you have one, especially in your replay code or replay list, maybe take a look at it again. See if you can, with what we've talked about here, just looking at your positioning, try to see if there's anything that you could have done better. Try to see if you're looking for those opportunities. Now, again, is it going to be better than Kiriko? Probably not. No, Kiriko is about as good as there is in push. But, take a look. Do you have any other questions?
I don't think so. Okay. Thank you. This was really helpful.
You're very welcome. Don't forget